Photos. Ooh, let me get my... Wait and get some people in here.
Go bold in a new 2020.
Got a few people in here. I'm gonna wait a little bit. Had a subscriber. Let's see. Let me pull up the picture. I mentioned this in the last live, but it was Thomas Brown. Yeah, Thomas Brown 9402. Can we get a review of the Carhartt seat covers? He mentioned that during the drain and Honeywell keyless lock Watch Me Work. Well, it's been a rainy day. I got home this afternoon, and this side over here needed to be washed anyway, so I just put them in the washer, got them out. Let me get down to where I'm not halfway cut off. Got them out, so I'm going to put them back on, but I thought I'd go ahead and put them on, let you guys watch, give you my thoughts on these Carhartt seat covers, and then we'll just chat after that. Let me get back into the chat, see who's in here, if anybody. Got 14 people. Looks like there's somebody. At this point, Danny said, I need a Monster sponsorship. Wouldn't be bad. Wouldn't hate that either. I'd like that almost as much as Milwaukee or Klein, I think. I don't drink them as much as I drink just black coffee. Like, I might have one a day or something like that. Sometimes I don't even have one a day. Basically, if I want something cold, that's what I like. What's up, Shane? So I mentioned just a minute ago, Thomas Brown, I think it was 9402. He wanted a review of these seat covers. So I bought this truck. This is a 2011 F-150. I bought this truck in 2016, and it had like 40,000 miles on it or something like that. But I got it whenever, like, the warranty had, that 5-year warranty had just expired or whatever. So I got a really good price on it. And I mean, it was like brand new on the inside, brand new under the hood, like really immaculate shape. So I went ahead and I found these seat covers. I really wanted them really bad, but they're super expensive. What's up, Abraham? So if you look at these on Amazon, and they're vehicle specific, so depending upon what vehicle you're looking at, you know, you're looking at, and this is just a front row for $261. So that's not even, like, it shows the picture, like it's got the back ones, the front 2 bucket seats, the middle thing, and all that stuff. But it actually says in there front row, so it's really only 2 bucket seats worth for $260. Well, I so happened to find these on eBay one day, and they fit my truck, and I think I got both of them, like the 2 buckets for $80 or something like that. And I can't tell you how many seat covers I've went through, like the neoprene type and all that kind of stuff. You know, you go to Walmart or wherever, you get them for $30 a pair. They don't really fit all that great anyways. And, you know, they tear up like crazy. I bet I go through them like crazy. So I bought these pretty much when I bought this truck in 2016, maybe a year later. So we'll say 2017. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7 years that I've had these in my truck. And, I mean, they're phenomenal. And, again, I've washed them. I just now washed this one. I don't wash my passenger side that often because very, very rare somebody even sits over there. But I've washed them probably a handful of times, and they come out pretty decent. I've got like one spot over here that kind of is a little bit more wore than others, but again, I'll show that to you too. What's up, vegan? Nice sweater, he said. So before I put them on, and again, I'll go through here and show it to you. It don't take very long at all, but basically the material that these are, if you've ever worn these, so these are just, you know, Carhartt overalls. I used to wear these all the time. These were like my uniform in a way because I loved having this stuff up here, and, you know, you don't have the butt crack showing. But basically, that's what material these seat covers are. So if you've owned a pair of these, that's what these seat covers are. Maybe a little bit stiffer. I'll get it up to you up close. So it's got a, I'll get this out. Like for the headrest, maybe you'll be able to kind of see up close. I don't know, I've got the lighting all kind of out in front of the camera, but there's also pairs of overalls that are more like this than what I just showed you, but I actually like that other kind better. But again, I just washed these. They're typically kind of tight right after you wash them. But of course the headrest just goes on. They're super easy to put on and off too, for the most part. Like I said, they're a little bit tight whenever you first wash them, and I actually dried them this time. A lot of times I don't put them in the dryer. I might even have this on a little bit sideways. I think I do. So that's just the headrest part that I've got on wonky. I think I put it on backwards. Let's see. One side's longer than the other, yeah. So it goes like that. It's about half hot out here. It was cold earlier. It's been raining all day. I had a heck of a job today. I'll tell you all that in a little while. Yeah, here we go. So very few spots on it. I don't know if y'all can see this or not. Like wherever you rub on it a lot. Like I said, I've had these for 7 years. I mean, that still looks same as the day I bought it pretty much. And then this side, the only wear spot that I kind of have on that, I'm gonna lose Miss Maintenance's dryer ball, I'm gonna get in trouble, is the side that's basically the same place that always kind of wears out on your truck first. In fact, this was the only place on the truck whenever I bought it. It's got like a piece of that pad in there. It's like a little bit wonky. But right there is really about the only place where it's kind of gotten a little bit lighter, just over use and over time. But you have even a back pocket on the back side. So this just slides over. So it's basically like putting a pair of overalls on your seat. So that, see if it, yeah, y'all can see that. There's a pocket back here. So it's the same as I lose my pocket on my seat, but there's still one on this one. Then this has like a bag type deal with some piece of foam in it that tucks down in here, which I always put that on last. But everything else is just stretch. Then there's also a strap, one strap that you put through the back of your seat. That pulls the middle back in. And then again, this tucks down inside of here to hold that in place. And then you just have to run that up through. This is always the most fun part, but that's on all of them, and I'll do that later. I'm not gonna let y'all sit there and stare at my butt the whole time I'm doing that, but let me get y'all off here. Let's see. So again, really the only spot that I've got that's got any wear is pretty much this spot where you get in and out all the time. And I have cleaned this a lot. Probably the only reason why it's really lighter is because I've used stuff on it before I put it in the washing machine. But, you know, other than that. And like I said, it's basically feels the same as a pair of Carhartt overalls. I've not had one single rip in it. Haven't had any of the threads come out. I've washed it. I've probably washed this over the course of 7 years, hypothetically. Let's just say once a year, I guess, something like that. And again, I've got it on the passenger side too. I don't have any of the bucket seats, obviously, because I don't have my seats in there. So let me get you swapped around again. Let me check the chat before I leave this, and then if there isn't any questions about any of that, we'll go back over to the workbench area. Oh, that's great. I just knocked my monster over. See what y'all made me do. Let's see. What's up, Steve Jensen? Man, I had a heck of a day too. Coolant reservoir blew up. No warning as I was pulling into work at 3 a.m. Man, that stinks. Got out at 3 p.m. Had to work on the car real quick before school. Was able to be a plumbing video, but yeah. Catch y'all later, Abraham said. Appreciate you coming in, buddy. Let me get y'all tilted down a little so I'm not... Stinks, I spilt my monster. Yeah, my day, I went to a house to put in a barn door. I've already even put in one in the same room that I've already done. They had me put one on their bathroom door, and then they decided they wanted one on their closet door. So I'd already done the whole process on one door in that house. It's been a couple years ago, and then again they decided today that they wanted it on the other door. Well, so I just looked up the same stuff I ordered, the same hardware, same all that stuff, ordered the same exact thing again. Well, in this house, she didn't want the door stops like it was a regular door. Didn't want the door stops, didn't want the, hinges filled in or anything like that. She wanted a new jamb that was just flat. So I had to get in there and get that out. I took off trim off one side, got that out, replaced it with a flat jamb. So basically I changed out the jamb, put the same trim back on, lined that up with where the trim was on the wall so that they didn't have to repaint and all that kind of stuff. That was the hardest part on the one I did last time. And then I got over top of the door, putting in the barn door last time, putting in the hardware, and I couldn't find a stud or anything, like as far as with my stud finder. I couldn't find a drywall screw with a magnet. Couldn't find anything right above the door, so I was afraid they didn't put any kind of framing in there and they just floated the drywall or something. But ended up being, I put it in there, I hit something, so I assumed it was just something that, I couldn't pick up, header, whatever it was. So I got there today, got the jamb changed out really fast. That was super easy. Found everything, and while I had the jamb out this time, I actually looked up on my framing because I didn't pay any attention the last time because I just assumed there'd be studs or a header or whatever in there, and I'd already put it all back. So then whenever I went to hang the door hardware or the barn door hardware and I couldn't find anything, I didn't have any way to kind of really check it. So I checked that all out before I covered it up this time and noticed where the nails were. So I knew I was good on that. Well, then I get the stupid barn door hardware out of the box, and they've got the holes for where you mount it to the wall on 19.7 inch centers. Like, what in the world is that? I don't know what that comes out the metric. I don't know if that's a standard thing for somewhere else or what, but it's like every barn door hardware that I've ever used in my whole entire life has been 16 inch on center holes, because then that way, if you can line it up with framing, you can buy longer spacers and not have to put that board up there, which is what they wanted. That's what I've already done on the other one. But I couldn't hang the door because of that, so I had to order another one. We'll see. Dropping in like live. Keep up the good work. What's up, Caleb Ross? What's up, Michael Constanetta? Did I say that right? Constanetta? But that was my day today, and then it's been nasty all day. It's still kind of even a little bit misty now. So whenever I got home, since I got home early because I couldn't hang that door, I decided I'd clean up my truck. I even moved some stuff around in here. I kind of shifted this back a hair so that my drawers are still open, and I didn't have very much room before it catches this. I can't move it back any farther, but I was able to move it back a few inches to get myself a little bit more lean with this. Not that it wasn't comfortable, I just went ahead and did it. And then I also moved my middle there. I don't know if y'all can probably see that. Let me see. Might not be able to see in here without light either. I did have a Milwaukee light somewhere. Of course, you can't zoom out either, so y'all might not be able to see anyways. Let me move this back. So before this one was turned this way, and then I'd have my crate in it, but it was always hard to get my crate in and out because I'd have to stick my hand in here and pull up on that to get it out. So I moved this forward. I moved one at my door out some more and turned this around the other way. So now I can actually stack stuff in and out here easy, and it gave me room to put another small tote back here in the back just to throw random junk into. So I moved that around this afternoon. I think that'll make it a hair better. It's always a work in progress. You're never gonna have it exactly how you want it. You just gotta keep changing it little by little. So what'd y'all get into today as far as working? Plumbing McQuise, am I late? Not really. We're at the chatting point of it. I was just basically, Thomas Brown was wanting a review on these seat covers, and I had washed them today, so I was just basically putting them on to show you how easy it is to put them on. But as far as seat covers, are they super expensive? Absolutely. But if I went and bought myself a new vehicle today, like new to my business or whatever else, to me it's a investment worth making. Like even if it's $290, $300, I've had these for 7 years. I no telling how much money I would have spent over 7 years if I just kept buying the cheap ones and actually changed them out. I mean, now if you buy a cheap pair and you don't care that it looks like garbage and you shred the fire out of it, then you can buy one cheap pair and be done with it. Barrett Brooks, been watching for a while. Really enjoy the videos. Keep up the good work. Appreciate that. I guess I can sit here just as easy as my workbench. I don't know what the lighting looks like. My neighbors probably think I'm a crazy man. I look like Perkins Builder Brothers over here. What'd you get into today, plumbing? Ran 1-inch copper, 2-inch no hub for a discharge pump, and got 30 lengths of sprinkler pipe delivery 20 minutes before closing time. That's how it always happens. So I told him a story about a barn door thing that I had today that I should have been done with and over. Now I got to order something else, and my guess is I reordered the same thing because on Amazon the hardware that I ordered says that it actually comes with 16-inch centered pre-drilled holes, but it's 19.7 inches is what the bar was that came to me, and then the instructions even say 19.7 inches in it. So I'm gonna be surprised. I mean, if they've changed the instructions, I can't imagine I'm gonna get the next one that's gonna be 16. But I went ahead and sent it back and ordered another one. And nobody sells 8-foot bars. I need an 8-foot one. Nobody sells those locally, so I couldn't even just go get one from somebody else and use all the hardware off of it. But went and priced. Got a flooring job coming up, and then all the framing materials and the trusses and all that kind of stuff got dropped off at the quadplex job that I'm going to be working on. Of course, I'm not going to be like doing any of that. We're project managing that, and then once it's under roof, I'll be doing flooring, doors, trim, closet, shelving, all the hardware type stuff, all that kind of stuff, columns. The neighbors definitely think you're crazy. Yeah, I've got 2 of these big old like movie screen light things is sitting here on me. I They do a good job of lighting up stuff, but it makes my glasses like I can't hardly wear them like if I'm filming like it's such a reflection. I don't know how like and I don't see that on other people's videos, so I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but or maybe my glasses are just thicker than what theirs are or something. I don't know. Anybody buy any new tools yet this week? The Home Depot stuff deal of the day. I didn't. They never have anything that I don't already have anymore. Like I look through it hoping I'm gonna find something. The only thing that I almost bought last week was the 1-inch M18 SDS drill. It came with a 8 amp hour Forge. Is it Forge? Yeah, Forge battery. I started to buy it, but I didn't because I think if the price that it was cheap enough. I was waiting until that M12 one came out with the chisel feature, but if I can get an M18 with a Forge battery for the same price, it's going to be pretty hard for me not to just go ahead and buy an M18 and keep using the M12 that I have for whenever I want to drill Tapcons or whatever else. And then if I want to chisel something, I'll just get out the big M18. Lock camera got the new long needle nose from Milwaukee. Still waiting for a sale on that new 1.25 inch, 2-inch copper tubing cutter, but haven't seen anything. Yeah, I probably won't buy that one. I've got the small one. The small one's awesome. Like, but I never really go up and cut 1.25 inch and 2-inch pipe. Like, pretty rare that somebody's going to ask me to come work on something that's that, unless it's some kind of emergency or something. Most of the time, 3/4 and 1/2 inch is about all really I get into 99% of the time. Was the barn door hardware 19.2 spacing by chance? No, it was 19.7 inches is what the instructions said. I can't remember what that was with my tape measure. I think it was real close to like, it was a little bit more than, or a little less than 19 3/4, but I don't remember what it came out to on my tape measure. Because I laid it out there. I had already got on the wall, and of course, it was going to be easier on this one because I already they bought the same exact door, all that stuff, and it's going in the same room. So I was like, well, because before I had to measure the door and then measure the little hangers that you hang on the door to hang it on the bar to figure out what the height of it needed to be to make sure that it hit my floor just right, to catching the little thing and all that stuff. Well, this time I wasn't even going to have to do all that because I just shot my laser to the one that I'd already installed because this was all going to be the exact same stuff. So I'd already shot it to the other side of the room and went and found the studs and started marking them at the 16s and then putting a little trim screw in to make sure I was catching something, and had that all laid out and everything. I thought, man, this is going to go super easy because the jam part's the worst part, getting off all the, because they had special trim. So I had to make sure while I was taking it off, I had to make sure I didn't break any of it because I wasn't going to be able to get any more of it because it was an older house with a, well, not old house, but older, that they use some kind of custom trim in it that you can't really get anymore unless you go special order it. So that took me the longest. And whenever I got done with that, I'm like, I'm gonna be done in no time with this barn door, and then I couldn't even do it. Made me so mad. Again, I'm gonna be shocked if I get this next one and it's 16. Even though the listing specifically, like you scroll through one of the pictures that they have on Amazon shows an 8-foot long track with holes in it that says 8 foot overall, and it's got 16 with little arrows on it the whole way. So I even messaged the seller on Amazon, which I never have any luck with that. They hardly ever get back with you. But I went ahead and messaged them, said, I don't know if y'all have some sort of one that you sell to some other country or some other whatever, that their standard's different. But I said, I already ordered one of these before and it was 16. I said, but this one's not. And never did. I haven't heard anything back from them yet. So the only way that really that one would even work is if you were putting it on a concrete wall where it wouldn't matter, you can put it anywhere, or if you, and this is probably what they intend for you to do, is a lot of people put that board up on the wall, attach it to wherever the studs are, and then put their track on top of the board, because then that brings your hardware out past your trim on your door and all that kind of stuff. But usually customers don't want that, they don't want that look. So you can buy spacers that are longer and put with longer lag bolts and basically move your track farther away from the wall by 3/4 of an inch or whatever your trim is. So that's what I was doing. So I can't use, like, if I was putting a board up there, it wouldn't have mattered. I'd just put in those lags at whatever. But I actually have to hit the studs wherever they are. So not being able to do what you plan for the day is the worst. Yeah, especially when you're busy, because then it's like it snowballs. Which luckily I didn't have a whole lot planned, which I'm not going to get that other one in till probably the end of the week. So I don't have a lot of, all my big stuff is kind of, I'm on a waiting pattern for some other people to get done with their stuff. So I've just been catching up with small stuff here in the last little bit. So it didn't affect me that bad. But sometimes, you have one thing like that go wrong, and then you got to try to fit that in. That's why I don't schedule myself purposely. Like, I could stay so slammed and busy if I scheduled my whole day every day, but I purposely, like, I don't plan but to do about a couple jobs a day. And then if something else comes up, I go do it, or I call somebody and say, hey, can I come today, this afternoon? If that's all right by you, I'll come a little earlier instead of coming tomorrow, and then just keep catching up. But I never plan my whole day to just be booked solid, because you have one thing happen like this, and then you got to try to fit that stuff in. That makes it a big pain. Yeah, I don't know what 19.7 inches is, where that's a standard thing. I have no clue. I'm going to move over here to the workbench area. So I'm sitting, shut this door. So y'all bear with me. I'm going to shut my truck doors real fast. That way I can quit looking like the Perkins. All right. Plumbing McQuies, pack out for the client. Yeah, I hadn't got that thing from Isaiah Torres yet. He was supposed to be sending me something, but something might have happened where he couldn't send it to me, and that's fine. So I had some little pieces of foam left over, and it worked out to where I can cut that and put that in the top right there, and then still use the bigger one of these to put all those leads in. So I'm just using this for now. That's a little bit smaller case than the one that comes with it, and of course it's going to snap in my truck easier. I mean, it's not a crazy smaller case, but a little bit smaller. And like I said, this at least will snap into my stuff. I have to figure out something I want to do with that, though. They sell a 10 spot or whatever that is. I know Tooling with Newman has a lot of those. I think it's 10 spot, but he said his buddy was printing them. It was Isaiah Torres. They sell an actual little plastic 3D printed insert that slides in here, and everything has its place, like even the alligator clips and all that stuff. But man, if you go buy that, it's like $70 for that thing. I'm like, I'm not spending more for a thing to put my stuff in. I tell you one thing about this seat, though, that it takes some getting used to, just because I've never had one with this little back on it, and the fact that this spins, I keep catching myself, sitting on it and then being on that back. That takes a little while to get used to that. Anybody go to Lowe's and see if they got the a lot of people were talking about getting diagonals and all sorts of stuff of Craftsman on. Mine didn't have a whole lot of that kind of stuff. Mine had these. They had some. I almost bought the flex head ratchet. They had a 3/8 flex head ratchet, but it was a short one though, and it had also had the rubber grips on it. I'll scoot up some. And I typically don't like my ratchets. They even usually cost more, but I don't usually like my ratchets to have that rubber handle type stuff on it. I don't like that. $19.7 is 1/2 of a meter. That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if, like, I don't know what the spacing typically is over at, like, across the ocean. Like, I don't know what they frame on, or what kind of, what millimeters they set their framing stuff at, or if there's a certain thing. I was curious about that because, like I said, whenever I opened it, I laid it out. The whole reason why I started even looking at it was because it's 2 4-foot tracks to make an 8-foot track, and there's a thing that goes in the middle. And with the last one they sent me a little bolt washer and a nut, and you put it through there and just join the two, and then the 16s didn't include that center one. And I couldn't find that little nut and bolt and stuff. And then I started looking at it while I was on the floor, and I'm like, man, them holes look like they are crazy far apart. And I was like, got out my tape measure, and I'm like, well, that's just weird. Like, there ain't no way I can make that work. Brian said he asked because 19.2 is joist marking for I-beam timbers. Well, like I said, maybe they make it specifically for something. I'm hoping that I get a different one whenever I just ordered another one, the same exact one from the same seller and all that stuff. But because it's like I said, it's the same exact one that I bought the last time, and everything else was the same, like the wheels and stuff that you mounted to the door, the stops. Everything else that came with it was identical to the one that I had before, except for the track. The track was just different. Stop plugging Lowe's. You're making us jealous here in the UK. Well, I talk pretty bad about Lowe's most of the time, but they do have some sales every now and then. If that's the only time I really buy anything at Lowe's, other than now that Klein's there, I buy some Klein stuff. But I go to their back aisle clearance section, and most of the time it's materials and stuff that I end up buying. Every now and then they'll have some tools that are just, I can't pass it up because they're $1 or $2 or whatever. But it's pretty rare that I actually go buy tools there. For the most part, they don't really carry anything that I like. Other than now they do have Klein. Klein's really the first tool that they've carried that I really care anything about now. Like I said, I used to run Bosch. I used to have some DeWalt, and I don't run that stuff anymore, and that's what Lowe's has at mine. They do have Metabo. I do have a few Metabo tools. Brian went to 4 Lowe's, all sold out. What stores do they have in the UK? So yeah, like what's the name of the stuff that's like your Home Depot, your Lowe's, or those kinds of things like that? What are they actually called over there? Somebody had told me some of the ones in Canada, and I can't remember what it was. It started with the R, I want to say. There was some kind of store, and he said they bought out. Whoever it was said they bought out all the Lowe's, but maybe it's called Rona or something like that. B&Q is popular, like a Home Depot. Probably packed wrong. Quality control is bad these days. I'm hoping so, but well, that's what I was hoping. But then they would have had to give me the wrong instructions as well, because, like I said, the instructions after I opened them up, because I was just curious what they was going to say, and I was looking to see if they were talking about joining that piece together in the middle with a bolt and a washer and a nut, because I couldn't find that in the hardware either, and I couldn't find that in the instructions. But the instructions actually had. But it talked about for concrete, it said, drill holes at 19.7 inches on center, and then use these anchors that they gave you. But it said if you're going into wood, you don't have to use the anchors. I'm like, well, okay, but 19.7 doesn't do me any good. But like I said, the only way that you're going to make that hardware work here is if you are putting it on a concrete wall, or if you're taking a board and putting it across your drywall, screwing that to the framing, which is what a lot of people do because that's the easiest way to do it. But most of the customers that I have, they don't want that board going across there. They just want the hardware, so you have to buy spacers that are as wide as whatever the door trim is or whatever, and change those out. I'm hoping that the next one that's right, because I looked around town, I couldn't find anything that was. I need an 8-foot one. I can find 6-foot ones. I can find 6'6" ones. I can find 7-foot ones. I couldn't just. And I have to have the same one because I'm kind of mirroring something that I've already done in there, that same exact room. Like it's going to be just another wall. This wall over here is going to have it. This wall over here is going to have it. So if they look drastically different, it's going to be weird. Maybe screw fix, but it's just a counter store or mail order. Got 2 Milwaukee M12 5.0s on Amazon for $59 each. They're the real deal, packing and all. Even have the security tag. Maybe hot, but they're mine now. Tool Depot, Hickory, North Carolina on the label. It's nice. I got the very first 5.0 and 2.5 that I got to try them out whenever I went to buy them. Home Depot had them clearance for like $49 or something one day whenever I was in there. And then after I tried those, I'm like, yeah, these are the batteries I want all my batteries to be. So got some 2-inch angled Chinex Purdy brushes for $3.50 on the back wall the other day. Mine had some boots back there, but they never did drop them, and they're gone now. So like there's 2 pairs of size 9s back there. I kept watching because they were like $40 something dollars, which was still a good price because they were like Timberlands and Wolverines. A lot of them were DeWalt or whatever, but I didn't need them because I don't really wear them that much. But I was like, well, I mean, if I can get them for dirt cheap, I'll get them. So I kept checking. They never did have them. Mine's got a lot of Cat 5 cable type stuff with the ends, cable, HDMI. Like they've been going through maybe the audio video section of Lowe's at mine and cleaning it out and taking stuff back there. All that kind of stuff, like even coax cable, that kind of stuff. No tools back there at mine at all. My Lowe's now, though, over in the tool section, I saw it today for the first time. They've got a clearance section over in the tool section that's just got power tools on it, like that they're yellow tagging on one of the end caps. So I'm having to start making sure I check there now too. They had 2 of the Metabo oscillating tools for $59, but I just bought the DeWalt one, or I might would have got that one because I do have some batteries for them at least. And it wouldn't have hurt my feelings. I probably need to try to find me a Milwaukee Metabo battery adapter and pick up one of those too, just in case. Can I be honest? I wouldn't try the Craftsman's pliers wrench. That's just pushing up to catch your size. Makes me nervous. Don't look secure. Well, somebody had commented on, and I can't remember. I don't remember if they said they had the Craftsman one or they had the actual, whatever the brand was, Facom or something like that. I don't remember, but he said that he had something that was just like this. And let's see if y'all can see it. See how that's all on the back there. And I'd already put my Knipex one in my truck already, I think. But he said that a bunch of these kind of, whenever he was actually going and putting a lot of force on it, it slid up and kind of sheared some of those off. And he's got like a smooth spot like in that now. I can't remember what it was. I don't think he said he had these. I think he just said he had some that had this same exact design on it, and that's what happened to them. So basically he was, really hammering to it, and then this slipped up and sheared off like some of that and made those flat to where it didn't work for him no more. So he said he can still use them. He just can't use them in a really high torque situation. So he basically has to use something else to loosen something if he has to, and then he can use these. So just take that with it if you do buy these. Keep using your Knipex on the heavy-duty stuff and just kind of keep these for your just normal wrenching, tightening something down, whatever it is. That kind of stuff. Cat 41 just swung by my Harvard job. That light's still out. Yeah, I couldn't figure it out. It was crazy hard. Somebody needs to have a bright idea there, and then it come on. Been adding to my little rolly dolly over here. Been using it to put a crate in. I keep my Knipex pliers in my front pocket. The women love me until they see it's pliers and not something else. got on you gray sweats. I keep a small pliers wrench. I think it's the 150s. I don't think it's the 125s. I think I keep a 150 pliers wrench Cobra, and then I keep the smallest twin grips in my vest. All three of those. And then I just keep screwdrivers and stuff, because pretty much them 3 pliers right there, you can do a ton with them, like pretty much about anything, really. You can always get by with very little tools. That's what I was telling somebody the other day. I don't even remember. It might have been Miss Maintenance. I don't remember who it was, but it's like, yeah, you don't have to have all the tools that I have. I can take a small amount of tools and do about any job, but it doesn't mean it's going to be fun, and it doesn't mean it's going to be, efficient and those kinds of things, because there's certain tools that just make something a whole lot easier and a lot more enjoyable, a whole lot faster. But you can do a lot with, screwdrivers and a adjustable wrench and a pair of channel locks. You can pretty much do a whole lot of stuff. I'm saying that to say that's why I carry those in my vest, so like that way I don't have to go out to my truck, because like, yeah, something might be easier with another tool, but if I might have to walk all the way back out to my truck and it's only going to take me a few seconds to do it with that tool that I've already got, I just go ahead and do it and spend that little extra time if I don't have that in. What's the plan for the dolly? Nothing at the moment. Right now it's just got some of my empty pack outs on it that I'm rolling around to get it out of my way. I almost bought, I had thought about, because somebody had sent me a message asking me about the Milwaukee structured backpack and that kind of stuff, if I would try one and do a review for it, which again, I tell everybody all the time, if I'm not against buying a tool or a tool bag or whatever, if it's something that I'm never going to go buy one just to do a review for it. Like I've had a bunch of people ask me to do the Klein Complete Connect set. Hey, will you get that set and do a review for it? But it's like, I've already got all the pieces that are in that set. Like I'm not going to go spend $150 on a set just to make a video to show you what's in it, because ultimately that's all I can do is show you what's in it, and you can see that from the picture. But I've already got all those pieces, so it'd be crazy for me to go spend $150 just to make a little video to show you all what's in it, whenever you can see that kind of in the picture. All you have to do is watch the 3/8 video set, and then the flip socket, the actual socket ones, not the regular socket, not the old flip socket, but that set, it's a combination of those two. I don't have $150 to just throw away just to make a video. Killtronic's been working in a special needs home the last 2 days. You cannot feel good after being around those folks all day. They are so joyful and happy. You cannot help to feel good. I'm sure is what you probably meant. Yeah, it's always nice to be able to be in a situation where you get to see whatever it is you're doing is, everything that we do helps somebody. Like if we go to even somebody who doesn't appreciate it and whatever, it still helps them because they had something that wasn't working or whatever. But when you go to work somewhere where, you feel like this place does good, that kind of stuff, and then you're helping them, and then you can even help them more if you want to in a different way whenever you leave or do whatever. That's up to you, but that's always awesome to be able to do that. That's where I worked before, was a place that was that kind of a place for a long time. It was that kind of place where I worked before, not special needs, but it was a institution that did something really nice, and I always felt good about working there. I still, whenever I go work there now. Seeing your video made me think about it when I asked for a video on the OG twin grips, and that's when I became a full supporter. Also went and bought them soon as the video finished. Shiny Garlet, what's your favorite tool brand? Are you talking power tools? You talking hand tools? And really, I don't have in any of those. I don't have this is my favorite. I have kind of what I feel like is the best for me in my situation. And it's not, I'm never against buying any other brand if it's going to work for me and what I'm doing. Milwaukee's the power tools that I buy, and I have just started buying those in the last probably, I guess, 4, 5 years at the most, probably around 4 years or so. Prior to that, I ran Bosch. Prior to that, I ran DeWalt. I've also ran some Rigid. I've also got some Metabo still. I still have some Bosch tools. But typically, I run Milwaukee and I go buy Milwaukee, but that's mainly because that's the battery platform I'm in. Their tools tend to be pretty good. They've got a selection of about anything that you can think of for the most part. There's very few tools out there that some other brand has that they don't have. And again, some other brand's version of it might be slightly better, might be slightly worse, but it's never like it's like, oh, this tool from Milwaukee doesn't get the job done at all, and this one from DeWalt does. It's just maybe this one from DeWalt's a little bit better, or this one from Milwaukee's a little bit better, this one from Flex is a little bit better. But ultimately for me, I like keeping my batteries all the same, my chargers all the same in my truck. Now, if I worked out of this garage right here and that's all I did, I wouldn't care if I had 15 chargers and 30 different batteries and all that kind of stuff, because it doesn't matter to me. I've got the space to put them wherever I want to. But in my truck, I don't have that much space. So I don't want to have to carry 5 different chargers, 15 different batteries, all that kind of stuff. And Milwaukee has always, in my opinion, since I moved to Milwaukee, there's not been a tool that I've wanted that I haven't been able to get and that hasn't performed at least good to very good, if not excellent, for the most part. So that's why I go with them. Hand tools wise, pliers for me today, if you're asking me today, it's Knipex. Screwdrivers, it's Vessel. That's a preference thing for me. That's my favorite for me. A lot of people probably won't like it, and it's not because of the bit or anything like that. It's just the handle, and that's all I care about on a screwdriver. I can make all the bits are pretty close. One person's bit might be better than the other. Like the Vera laser tip bits are phenomenal, but they're not that big of a difference that I would use a handle that I don't prefer just to have that laser bit. I'd rather have the handle that's actually in my hand that's going to make me want to use it all the time. I'd rather that be good and then the bit be okay to great or to good than to have this excellent bit and a handle that I don't like. Those kinds of things. Chet, you can play Where's Waldo, but with Morgan's Houdini's cans. Yeah. And I've got like 4 in my truck probably. But yeah. 2 back there. I probably got 1 or 2 over there. I keep one in I'm sure there was at least one while I had my truck door open a minute ago, because I keep one right there because that's where I always clean them before I stick them back in there. And then there's usually one in the back of my truck in a bucket where I clean the tools before I put them in the back of my truck. And then I usually got a can in there somewhere that's just extra. You're a worker of the night for power tools. Bring out the red light. Oh, I could do, I did hook up the O-Light O-strip. Let me see. I don't remember what I did with the. Let me see what this looks like. I haven't even thought about checking this since I hooked it up. I don't have my. I only get the 3 colors on it though, because I don't have the. I think this is in the TV. Yeah. Let's see. I won't be able to, yeah, I'll have to turn that off in a minute. Is that on? Let's see. Oh, yeah. I got bored out here the other day, so I hooked up that O-Light O-strip. Let me see if I think I still got the O-Light app on here. Let me see. See what all we can do with this. Oh, of course, wants me to update. That's going to make me update that in a minute. So let me go turn this back on. Let's see. I'll turn this one on for a second. We'll update this Olight app, and then we'll see what all this O strip does. All right. So you can go to red. I don't know if y'all can see. Let's see. Get you tilted a little more. Let's go to the combo. Bunch of different colors. Then we're going to go to scenes. I could do the music, but it's not going to. Let me just do the. It will go by me talking, I think, but let's see if it works. Test. I can't turn on music, obviously, because then I'll end up getting in trouble. All right, I'll turn the lights back out. But I got bored one day and didn't have anything else to do with that, and I was wanting to get it out of my package, or out of my garage. So one night when I was out here, I turned it on. You can still see it a little bit in the daylight. You can still see that red kind of glaring, on there. Just sing something to them. Could do some Conway Twitty. Hello, darling. Now I got to find the chat again. Killtronics, I buy mainly Milwaukee because I have locally owned tool shop that deals in them and repairs them. Also, I have an account there so I can charge and then once a month write a check. It's nice. Hand tools are what works best and holds up the longest. I'm more of a hand tool person. I've said, let me turn these other lights on. I don't have my other lights turned on. I'm more of a hand tool person, preferably, as far as buying tools and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, see, that's like, those lights do better. Like, if I put one of those lights over here, I don't get this big shadow that's here all the time, but I get a huge glare on my glasses that looks worse, in my opinion, so that's why I never put it over there. He does a shell game with them, make that missing money. Let's see, like an old Alienware PC, yeah. I was thinking about putting it in my truck, but I'm like, I'm never going to turn that on. So I was like, I'll stick it on here. I'll probably never turn that on much either, but it was something to do with it. I'm surprised you can still see it in this lighting here, though. So that's something. Because again, you can change it. You can change it from red, green, and blue from this button here. What's that? Red, green, yeah, and blue. But to change it to any of that other stuff, you have to do it in the app. I know what I'll do if I don't unplug that. I'll forget and leave it on. What's up, TPG? Ryan says I like hand tools better till I have to saw something. Yeah, power tools are definitely nice compared to a hand tool, like whenever you need a saw or a drill or whatever else. But it's like if I could work it out to where my whole job was just carrying a tool bag in with hand tools and being able to fix stuff with just that, like those kind of jobs, that's what I love to do. I don't mind like a drill impact type thing, not that kind of stuff. But I'm talking about if I never had to get out like a pack around a table saw and a miter saw and all that kind of stuff again, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. What's up, Elliot Parrish? I don't think they point the light straight at themselves. Think you got to find a way to reflect the light towards you, if that makes sense. Must be those new O-light strips. Yeah, I put them underneath this. I had a little lip underneath this right here, and I had them sitting around forever, and I'm like, these are gonna be sitting around if I don't do something with them. So I'm like, I'm gonna stick them on there and see what it looks like. They came with little screws and little brackets where you could mount them on anything, but it also came with like a double-sided tape on it. So I just peeled it off and stuck it up in there. I've got it wrapped around the workbench. Yeah, using a jab saw versus a sawzall, different ball game. Yeah, I remember like when you used to use a drywall jab saw like crazy, like all the time, putting in lights and doing all sorts of stuff. And now like with the oscillating tool, with a sawzall, even just hole saws that are every size imaginable and all that kind of stuff. Jab saws don't get used all that much. Basically, the only time I use a jab saw is if I've already got the little one, like that S-wing or whatever. If I've got it in my bag and I just need to saw out something small, and I'm not going out to my truck and getting out my oscillating tool and putting a blade on it and putting a battery in it, I'll just go ahead and saw that out. But I mean, if I'm going to do very much at all, I definitely ain't using a handsaw. You can control the hand tool much more than power. He should be fixing things the 50s like an old Craftsman repair guy. Yeah. Could you imagine, though? I've thought about that so many times, especially like whenever I went to Washington, D.C. We went probably like 5-6 years ago. I'm not sure when it was. But, looking at all those old buildings, of course, they've been upkept over the years and all that stuff. So it ain't like what you're seeing now was what they originally built. But there's still a lot of stuff that is old. And you look at it, and it's like even the place that I used to work at, the building was built in 1945, the oldest one that was there. And all the stuff was the way that it's made and the way that they put it together, like all the staircases and all that kind of stuff. And and you look at it and you say, I could probably do that. But the question is, could you do that with the tools that they had is the thing. It's like, I could probably recreate what they've got now using the tools that I have, but there ain't no way I could do it with what they had. It ain't gonna happen. But again, I've grown up using all these tools, so that's what I've gotten used to versus they're the same way. They had to work with what they had, but some of the stuff that they did before we had power tools and stuff like that, and you look at it, I'm in awe of it. Like, to think about how they were able to do those things with what they had to do it with, it's pretty crazy. I mean, pretty crazy. That's what makes me, I think whenever we left Washington, D.C., I told Miss Maintenance and my kids, I'm like, leaving here, there's one thing that I came away with more than anything was that whenever I looked at all the architecture, I looked at all the older buildings and how they've lasted. And again, I know they've been maintained and all that, but then you go and you read some of the things that, people back then wrote or, in talking and things like that. I'm just like, we have done nothing but get dumber as a society. That's for sure. Like 100%, because I don't know, like if you took away all the laser technology, all the, and you had to go back to doing, you get rid of calculators, you get rid of, all sorts of stuff that they didn't have back then, that they were able to do what they're able to do. There's very few people today that could still complete the job that they had before them without using the tools that they have, that makes it so much easier. Like, there's not a lot of people that could go back and do the math just by hand or in their head or whatever else without having the kind of stuff we've got to make it so much easier. Was looking at pics from the early 80s when Granddad was building a house. I immediately noticed hand saws, hammers, and nails, no power tools. Forget how good we got it. Yep. Hacksaw was all the rage for cutting metal flapper dance. What's up, Someway? Most fancy carpentry does plastic trim. They can print even dental molding. Yeah, I'm sure the 3D printing stuff's probably actually going to come into play with all that stuff before too long. Wouldn't surprise me. That's like even in drywalling now, they've got so many different, like all those, uh, well, what's the brand name of it all? But it's like zip bead and all that kind of stuff. I forget what the actual name of that. It's a brand name that they got like a million different little things that you can use for drywalling. It makes it super easy too. How do you like the M12 blower? Picked one up at Northern Tool the other day for $79 with the $20 coupon. Why I got 5.0 batteries, have not opened it yet. It's okay. I mean, for that price, it's worth having for sure. Back whenever I bought it, and that's why it was in my bottom three or whatever, was because the regular price on it, like whenever I got it, was like $119 or something like that. And it's not gonna, like, you can't, well, I ain't gonna say you can't use it, but if you ain't gonna blow off leaves off your driveway or nothing with it type thing. But what it really is nice for, and it has some different attachments. I think all mine are over there. I've always just kept this on there. But blowing off your workbench, or because I can blow this and like kind of throttle it down and it won't blow all the stuff off my workbench. Like if I go get my M18 and do that same thing, every bit of that's going somewhere. So it has its place for that price. I'd say it's good to have. I wouldn't pay $120 for it. For how much I use it. Now again, somebody else though, if all you want one for is to clean off a workbench every single day, you use it every day like that and all that stuff, it's worth having just for that. But it's definitely not the most powerful thing. I don't know that I've ran a 5.0 in mine though. I don't know if it makes any difference or not. Because I pretty much leave. I've got 2.6s that I have to jump start all the time. So I just leave them. I leave one of them in that blower. And then I leave one in my, usually in one of them impacts or the drill there. They stay in here in my garage. Man, I'm choking. Because I don't use them that much. And then that way I just kind of keep an eyeball on them. Anytime I complain about solder, I think about all the lead and oakum joints the old plumbers used to have to do for cast iron. Yeah, I've torn out a lot of that over in that building that was built in 1945. Everything there that's what it was. And yeah, that's another thing. Like you go and tear apart something like that, and you think about how much work somebody put in. Like, yeah, I think about that every time I demo anything. You know, as I'm tearing it out, I'm like, man, somebody spent a lot of time doing this. And then it makes you think to yourself, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, somebody else is going to be tearing this out saying the same thing about our work. Because that's just the way that it goes. All this stuff's temporary. So, you know, no matter how well you build something, somebody's eventually going to be tearing it down. Unless it's something that, you know, gets upkept like crazy. And by then they've already got rid of your work and remodeled it at some point anyways. Nothing lasts forever, so. Must be a pain, the heat of lead and being toxic too. TPG, I successfully brazed the handle back on my wife's strainer. Charles Curtis and all the HVAC guys would not be impressed, but it's fixed. I started off as a trim carpenter using a Miller Falls miter box, Yankee screwdriver, and hand nailing everything. Yeah, I remember the miter boxes too. I used to use those all the time for trim and stuff like that. Door casing, all that before, you know, you had a miter saw, because even whenever miter saws were out, whenever they first were big and all that stuff, they were so expensive that, you know, it's kind of like anything else whenever that tool just first came out. But now you can go get one, not that they're not expensive now, but comparative, they're not as bad as what they used to be. I mean, for somebody to have a miter saw, like a 12-inch miter saw was about all there was to, and it was huge. Or I used to have a radial arm saw. Any of y'all ever have a radial arm saw? I've even got a picture of my garage here where I bought one and ended up fixing it up and repainting it and all that kind of stuff. I planned on actually taking it because I didn't want to buy the Bosch miter saw that was, you know, you can put it up against the wall and all that stuff. I didn't want to spend the money on it to keep one in here all the time set up, because I don't use it in here that much. I mostly take my job site ones to the job sites. So I thought, well, I got a radial arm saw. I'm just gonna fix it up. I went and found all the parts to fix it and painted it and did all that because I was like, I'll just put it up against the wall, and then that way I can basically do all the same kind of stuff with it. But I ended up selling it to somebody. It was an old Craftsman one that somebody wanted. But and yeah, I used to use radial arm saws. I remember those. As a matter of fact, I've still got an old one, but it's my wife's dad. There's a section of one of my barns back there where we let them keep some of their stuff in, and there's an old one back in there. I can't remember what brand it is. I like my Ryobi high volume inflator for blowing off desks, $35 and 30 plus minute battery life. Terry Burton, I don't remember. Do you have compressed air in your shop? I use it to blow out my shop. I've got a small, I thought it was a Campbell Hausfield compressor, but it's actually a Delta one. It's probably one of the first tools. So I've had it for probably, me and my wife have been married for 25 years. And it was one of the first things I got whenever we got married. So I've had it for about that long, and it's just a small one. Like it's nothing fancy or anything like that. But all I've ever really used it for is to run brad nailers, pin nailers, or air up a car tire or something like that. It was one of those. I remember whenever I bought it, I wanted one of them big ones, to put in the corner. But whenever we first got married, we didn't have money for nothing. Like we were broke. So I got the cheapest one I'm sure I could get, but it's lasted. I've had it for 25 years. This is the cycle of the beast, Morgan. What's that? Plaster and lav wasn't meant to be temporary. It's a lot more durable than wallboard. Yeah, but it just takes skill, unfortunately. So not that wallboard doesn't, but I'm saying there's not very many people that want to mess with it. I drilled a few lead joints Saturday. Good times with horsehair. Called to dinner, shrimp and grits, maybe. I love RAS, but they do require you to saw off your radial arm saws, but they do require you to saw off your arms. They are pretty intimidating. Like I hadn't used one for so long. Like I don't remember being really intimidated with them whenever I used them all the time. But because that's the saw I had before I got a miter saw. I found one of them on Craigslist or something for dirt cheap, and I used one for a long time. But after I fixed that one up, and I hadn't used one for a long time, and I'd been using miter saws and all that kind of stuff, and the whole time I was using it, I was like, man, this is dangerous as all get out. Like, I can't believe I used to use like one of these all the time. It just seems, it's not really that it's dangerous, it just seems like this doesn't seem like this is a good idea. The lady at the grocery store told me not to buy spice because of lead. I smiled real big, realizing I'd worked with my dad sweating copper pipe at a gas station, pumping lead gas, and at a gas station pumping lead gas. I'm doomed. Yeah, I've worked in all kinds of asbestos type stuff over the course of time. I'm trying to think of what else. I've got somebody. Oh, mail guy's running a little late or something. Post office guy running must be earlier than what I thought. Man, no, it's pretty late. I knew I saw some flashing lights outside. I got a post office guy. Yeah, I've asbestos a lot. I've worked around asbestos a lot, especially like in demo, like floor tiles, uh, old boilers, old pipe insulation, all that kind of stuff. Chuck Dog said he had a Montgomery Ward radial arm saw. I know the one that I fixed up was a Craftsman. I'm trying to remember what the one that's back there now is. I'll have to go back here and check that out sometime. If I can dig it out, maybe I'll bring it in here and see if we can get it working or something like that. I can't remember what brand it is. Things will always go up and come down. Oh, that's the cycle. Yeah, that's the cycle you was talking about. Cycle of the beast. Yeah, you don't think about it whenever you're installing stuff. I think about it all the time whenever I'm demoing stuff. But that somebody else especially whenever I run into something that's pretty nice that I'm taking out, and I run into how somebody framed something, how somebody, and then I think about wonder why they chose to do it this way, that kind of stuff. I'm always interested in stuff like that. So even the cleanest work one day will come down. Yeah, because even work that there's nothing wrong with it, a lot of times it comes down because somebody just wants something different. Matt HMM says he has a Montgomery Ward 240 sitting around 60 years old and works. Yeah, I know the one that's back there is like a silver and it's 100% metal. I know that. I can almost see the name written on the side of it. It's going to bug me now. I'm going to have to go back. It's far away, or I'd go look real fast. Uh, but like I said, maybe I'm going to go back there and see if I can actually maybe dig it out even. I'll bring it in here and see if I can clean it up and see if it works. We'll put on a radial arm show, radial arm saw show. You seen the Milwaukee pack out cabinet? I want that thing for no reason, but if I get one, I'll find a reason. My buddy's got one. He really likes it. I don't have very many things. I thought about getting one of those and swapping it out with my rolling cart. How I've mentioned before, I keep my stuff in there, but then I got to take my pack out back off. I got to take my ammo with my drywall stuff off to get to the big tools. But I don't think I could fit as much stuff in that as I do that other thing, even though it's a pain to get that out. I'm pretty much just waiting until I can get the pack out dolly with the drawer on it. I'm gonna get that and replace that. Or if Milwaukee comes out with a single drawer and it's cheaper than I'm hoping they'll come out with that too. Like I hope Milwaukee comes out with just a single drawer. Surely they will if they're coming out with a rolling cart that has a single drawer on it. Surely they're going to come out with one that's the same size as their other drawers, but just one big drawer. That way you can put big tools in it. I'd rather have that. So I'm hoping they come out with that. And I'll buy whichever. Now, if it's only a little bit more to buy the rolling cart, I'll go ahead and buy the rolling cart. Or if the single drawer is like 50, 60 bucks cheaper or something like that, I'll buy that instead of the rolling cart. Because I don't use the rolling cart that much, and then I'll still have mine anyways, the old one. So if I'm going to a job where I know I'm going to need a rolling cart, I'll just throw that one in the back of my truck and then keep that drawer back there all the time. It's probably what I'll end up doing. DeWalt, Makita, and Klein are going to drive Milwaukee to up their game and stay on top of the field. Yeah, the Makita stuff looks pretty neat. I haven't seen it in person. I'm just talking about video-wise. Matter of fact, it might not even be out in person. I don't know if it's out in person or not yet. I've only seen the few videos on YouTube about it. We'll see if they're gone or not yet. Make sure they didn't back into my truck. I saw that lights kind of flashing. I got my truck parked a little bit weird. I'm like, who in the world is that? Because anytime I park my truck different, I'm always worried that somebody, because it's happened before, even not with my truck, but with other vehicles. Like if you get used to backing out because I kind of park my truck in a turnaround in a certain spot, and then you get used to it being in a certain spot, the other people do, and backing out and just turning. So anytime I'm parked weird, I'm always like, I need to go out there and move my truck and put it where I normally am, or somebody's going to hit that. Leonard says, hit the like button. We appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, it was a nasty day today. Raining all day until like just here recently. And I didn't have it. So like I said, I kind of, whenever I got home early, since I had planned to be at that place with the barn door for at least another hour or two, and then cleanup time and all that kind of stuff from the amount of time I was there. But then that happened. So I came home early, so I started cleaning up my truck, moving stuff around, playing around with it. Then I decided, well, I'm going to go ahead and he had asked about that Carhartt covers. So I'm going to go ahead and check that out. Wasn't something on my lip. There was something on my... I'm not going to touch it. I kept seeing something on my screen. I thought it was something on my mouth, but it was actually something on my screen. That's how competition makes better tools for customers. When they go back and forth between tool companies, we get to reap the rewards. Terry said, I'm thinking about using some Wagos on a small project this week, but I'm still nervous about them, man. I've used them like crazy, and I haven't had any problem. I saw where Tools and Tactics just had a short about he got into a ground wire that was pulling out of one, but to me, that's an install issue. It's somebody didn't install it right because I've yanked the fire out of mine. I haven't never had a wire come out, and I've even used stranded wire, which you would think maybe would come out a little easier. Uh, or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it would be harder to pull stranded out, but I haven't had any problem. I use them all the time. I like them. It's just something that's different that people have to get used to. And like I said, the light fixture companies that almost every light fixture I put in, commercial light fixture, they've got them in it. So those light fixture companies feel good enough about them that they're putting them in the light fixture, like that they're sending it to you, like they've already got it in there for you to just tie into them. So I can't imagine if they had an issue with them that they'd be using them if they felt like there was going to be an issue with them. And I would think it would be cheaper for them to stick them little orange wire nuts in a little bag and send them to you instead of doing that. They'd probably save some money if they didn't use them. Received my $45 vessel cordless screwdriver today. Thanks for the heads up on that deal. I think you'll like it, man. It's probably in the last couple years my favorite tool that I bought. Period. Which I've been filling out my note list of my top 10 for glad I bought them for 2024, and it's been a harder list to make up than usual. Which I'm kind of torn between how I want to do that because there's so many tools like that I buy, like from this point of the year on, because that's when all the sales are. So like if I buy something today, I don't even know that I'm like, there's certain things I buy from today through Christmas that I don't really know that I'm going to absolutely love them or not yet because I haven't used them that much. But then over the course of the next year, I'm like, oh, that's phenomenal. I love this thing. But I kind of limit it to I have to buy it in 2024 type thing. So sometimes the tools at the end of the years kind of get hosed, and that's when I actually buy a lot more stuff. So, but yeah, I had several tools that I bought in like December of last year. One of them I'm going ahead and putting in here because I bought one in December and one of them in 2024. So I did buy one of them in 2024. But yes, so I'm debating on, like, I need to probably make it to where it's in the last year, like from the time I put the video out, and then that way, because usually I put it out sometime in December. But like I said, I get Christmas presents, I get gift cards. A lot of places have deals around Black Friday and Christmas, so I buy more tools during that time. And all those tools kind of get thrown out of the mix because I don't have enough time to know that they're one of my favorite things for 2024. I'm not going to really use them until 2025, but I didn't buy them in 2025. I bought them, this year, so I wouldn't be able to use them. Need new batteries in the clock. Yeah, I do. It's not moving. Nice catch, Plumbing said. And battery didn't last very long on that, though, because I haven't had that for a crazy long time. Which I can't remember if it came with a battery and I put it in it, or if I just I might have grabbed an old battery and put in it, though, out here, because I got a lot of them that I pull out of stuff and I just throw them down in a little container in there. And sometimes I pull out some that aren't used. Just in time, I've got 20 receptacles to put in tomorrow. Yeah, I like I said, it's probably my most used tool now, because again, I like using screwdrivers more than anything else. But now that's like that's that perfect in between of it still feels like I'm using a hand tool, but it is electronic, so it's like faster, easier, all that kind of stuff. Arma 15 says you got to buy for a whole year now. Those had some great clearance. Lennox Plumbing Tools, Blaine, Minnesota, over the weekend. Yeah, I went in there and checked on mine. You might have been the one that commented. Somebody commented on the Craftsman one and said check the plumbing section for Lennox and stuff like that. And mine didn't have any. Mine had like a very few things, but they weren't very much off. So maybe I'm gonna keep checking. Maybe they just haven't got around to marking them down yet. Like I said, mine Milo's doesn't do a lot of tool markdowns very often. It's few and far between. It's materials and stuff a lot of times that I find to getting a good deal. And my Home Depot, they always clearance tools, but they're never Milwaukee. They're always, which they have had a Milwaukee, like, but it's a corded, the right angle, like big drill, electricians use to drill holes through studs and all that kind of stuff. They've had three of them sitting there at $180. And I'm waiting for them to either drop, or I'm kind of tempted to just, because they've been there for quite some time. I kind of want to just take one up front and see what it rings up for, because sometimes they ring up for a lot less than whatever it even is back there. So I'm thinking about trying that the next time if I go in there later this week, because they've been back there for a while. I'm going to take one of them up front and see what they ring up for. I don't really need it, but but if it's one of them that's crazy cheap, I'll take one. Tight space copper cutter set for $10. Hog is the electrician's drill. Yeah, that's what it is. They've got three of them sitting there, which two of them still in the case, and then one of them's like a loose tool. But they're the corded version, so that's the only reason why I probably still, unless, like I said, unless it is like so dirt cheap that I can't pass it up. Because other than that, I'd rather just spend more money and buy, even if it costs me double than whatever that deal is. I'd rather have a cordless tool than a corded one, because I don't want to pack around an extension cord and all that stuff anymore. But yeah, they've had those. That's the first Milwaukee like power tool I've seen back on my Home Depot in forever. Like, they very rarely put Milwaukee stuff back there. It's always they'll have rigid stuff, Ryobi stuff, and occasionally DeWalt stuff. Matter of fact, they got something back there. They got a DeWalt drywall screw gun there now, and then they had something else that was DeWalt. I don't remember what it was, but none of it is marked down crazy enough that I'm like, oh, I got to buy that type thing. Even because sometimes I'll even buy stuff if I see a crazy good deal on it. I'll buy it and resell it on Facebook or whatever. But none of them are at that point. No one uses the corded now with the battery powered ones now. A hoe, Leonard Pacoria. Leonard Pacchiora, is that how you say that? Did I say that right, Leonard? Pacchiora. I always try it. I probably butcher them all the time, but I'll at least try it. It looks like Pacchiora. But most of the time I just call you Leonard because I don't want to mess it up. I'm still a little tore up that I got a little bit left. Spilt my drink out there. Yeah, I can't think of anything. I got a couple tools in from some places. One of them I can't put out for a little while because they're short on inventory. And then the other ones I'm waiting on. They sent me the wrong one. So then now they're sending me the right one. And I told them I just put both of them in the same video. So I might end up filming that this week sometime. Split the monster, criminal. Spilt the monster, yeah, it's criminal. I actually have had that happen to me twice today. I went to the gas station today because I was this morning and of course, every gas station, they trick you into buying 17 of them to get a deal on them because it's buy 7 of them for X amount of dollars, or one of them's $10, whatever you want to do. Like, they do that on purpose to make you buy however many of them. But so I had to buy 2. And then I stuck one up on my, because I was just going to bring it home. And then I stuck it on my, or whatever the thing's called in the middle there. And I hit a curve real fast, and it slung over, and I don't know what it hit, but it split open. And then it was, because I could smell it, I was like, man, I bet that monster is leaking out because I could smell it. So I had to pull over and clean that up. So I've lost 2 monsters today. What's up, Mac Bergson? Yeah, I got this on the deal of the day long time ago. It was back in the summertime. Did you get your Klein off of Amazon? The Klein clock? I got it on House of Tools. It was I have a tool haul video that I think I've got that in there. I think it's called Klein Time or something like that. But basically, if you spent so much money, you got the clock for free, which that's going on all the time. They've got House of Tools always has some kind of deal where if you spend X amount of money, you get free stuff, and it's usually Klein stuff. Like they've got hats and glasses. As a matter of fact, that's where I got this hat was free too. Like I got this hat. I got that clock. It's always, they got like certain tiers of if you spend X amount of money, you get to pick certain things. And some of them are crazy dumb. Like the clock one was maybe spend 150 bucks or something, but like you can either get the clock or you can get like, I don't know, a 5 gallon bucket or something like that. I don't like stuff that shouldn't be in that same tier level. Like their tiers are really weird. Like there's some stuff that you can get for spending very little that's pretty nice stuff, and then there's some stuff where you have to spend a ton of money, and it's like seems like to me I could go buy that for not very much money. But I always have the 30-day price promise at Home Depot. You mentioned you were waiting for a new Klein toy you ordered from Amazon to come in. Oh yeah, I did order one. Yeah. Actually, that might be what that guy just dropped off. Let me look and, well, it's in the, I won't be able to look and see, I don't think. Let me see. Because it seems like I was supposed to maybe get that today. Delivered. No, it's arriving Thursday, so I've got something coming Thursday from Klein, a new Connect box. And I'm not going to spoil it for you and tell you what it is. You have to wait and see. Lynn Pecora, or did I still butcher it? I'm never good at being able to do it like that either. Matt HMM always gives me a bunch of stuff and spells it out like that, and I'm like, that doesn't help me any. I still can't. I still have. I would think it's Pecora, or it could be Pecora. Pecora. Aha. Pecora. So, cause see, whenever I look at that, I have a problem with the AHA. Is that aha or aha? I want to get the Makita blower inflator for tools, vac filters, concrete hose, etc. Yeah, I watch the Awesome Framers. I watch a lot of his videos, and he uses that Makita one all the time. That's what made me buy that Maleef one that uses the M18 batteries. Now, the only thing about this one, it works awesome. It does everything what you just said, and it comes with all the accessories. Even if you buy the Makita, you'd be worth buying this just because I think all these tips and all that stuff are all the same. I think they fit on the Makita, and they're cheaper. It's cheaper to buy this just for those tips and stuff than it is to buy the Makitas. But man, this thing is loud. Crazy loud. But it works really good. But I don't know if the Makita is crazy loud because you're watching every time I've ever seen it. I've not seen it in person. I've only watched it through a video, and you never know how the audio's going through that video. Because like if I do something crazy loud filming on this iPhone, it always kind of lowers the volume for you. Because like if I start talking, like if I was to use a impact right here and put a screw in, and I was talking like right after I did it, my voice would be crazy like low, and then it would go back to normal volume after about 10 seconds. Like you'd hear it gradually get better. So anytime you watch a video, depending upon if somebody's real good at editing audio somehow, but if they do it on an iPhone, like my iPhone automatically kind of changes the sound whenever it gets crazy loud, like lowers it down. So I always have to make sure I don't start talking like right away as soon as I'm done doing something. Because that's always a big pain whenever I don't remember to do that, and then I'm in there editing it, and then nobody can even hear what I'm saying. So then I have to pick out that little bitty clip and try to turn the volume up to where it's loud enough so you can hear whatever I said. But then there's always it transitions really fast when it goes back to normal. And again, I'm not good at editing at all. I use the iMovie, so whatever it lets you do, that's what I can do. I don't do anything fancy, and sometimes that makes it a pain. What loud? Can't hear you. You can't hear me now, or you're just making a joke? Because I got a blue light on my. I was just looking to see because I thought, well, maybe my microphone died and I didn't know it. Yeah, this let me put a battery. If I got I should have a battery in here. Yeah. Yeah, this thing here is pretty loud. So I got charger back up. She's pretty loud. I said, works phenomenal. I'm assuming it works just like the Makita. I just don't know if the Makita is that loud or not. And it's not crazy loud. Like if you're using it, and typically, I guess if you're using it blowing out concrete holes and all that kind of stuff, and you're drilling concrete holes at the same time, and you're probably wearing ear protection and all that kind of stuff. But it's super loud. Like you'd want to, if you're going to use it very much, you'd want to have on earplugs and stuff. I said, I don't know if the Makita is that loud or not. I have no idea. I've never actually heard one or seen one in person. I've only seen it in people's videos, and you can't go by the audio in people's videos. Matt says the Roby inflator is much quieter. Yeah, I might need to get that, and then just get me I need a Roby to Milwaukee battery adapter anyways, because I've got some Roby tools around here, and that way I don't have to keep up with Roby batteries, because I never really use them that much. So then I always have to try to remind myself to get out my Roby batteries and make sure that they're not like dead, because I don't have very many. I think I've got these two, maybe. Yeah, I've got another one up there, and all my Roby ones are super small ones, because they're basically, I bought some kind of little weird tool that took them and that came with them type thing. But I probably need to see if I can find me a Milwaukee to Roby adapter. Those hoodies run big. Yeah, they do. Like all my Milwaukee ones, I get the size. Like I think this is a large, and normally I might wear an extra large in most normal hoodies. Because I've got an extra large Milwaukee one in there, and I can't even, I mean, it comes down to here, and it's like boof, like I can't even wear it. That's the very first one I ever bought, and I'm like, man, that thing is huge. Somebody said, is the MP1 over there for the blackout setup or just for temporary holding? Yeah, I was kind of playing around with it. This is the MPX, not the MP1. I got it out of my truck earlier, so it's got the pliers wrench, or the Cobra with the dual tone there, and then the pliers wrench, and then the short ones, slotted Phillips and the small Phillips one. And then I could get out I could somehow rather probably work on getting those linemen's in there in the back here. Almost have to do something with that if he's going to actually make this. Actually, like if I bought the MP1 in this, the MP1X, because I've got's the original over. I think it might be in the frame over there. That would probably fit all this perfectly, actually. I could probably figure out a way to. That's the only thing. I wish that blackout screwdriver set. Like I never use long screwdrivers, like ever, like crazy long ones. Let me see what they. So I'd rather, like, if they gave me, instead of giving me these, just give me a short square two, or combo or something, and give me some shorter ones, because I always run all my screwdrivers in bags or pouches, and like these just don't work in bags and pouches. None of them that length, and I never run into a situation hardly ever where I need to get in that far in somewhere, and if I do, I just get out a long bit holder. But it's like that's really far away from the the work as well, like so to hold your screw on there and all that kind of stuff. I'm never a long screwdriver person. I just assume any set they sell all be that, this length right here. But mostly I was just putting these in there to get them out of my, as a placeholder and out of my way for now. And then I'm keeping these back there on my back wall for now, because I don't use linemen's that much anyways, and even if I'm going to use a pair for something nasty, I probably wouldn't use these. The Cobras are so clean, need to get a pair. Man, they change so much on Amazon, because they keep coming up in mine as a you want to buy it again thing. And I've seen it $52, I've seen it $39, I've seen it it changes every day, like sometimes twice a day, the price on it. It's crazy. Tint the chrome to a darker shade if possible. Yeah, if I had it to do over again, I wouldn't have bought the MPX. I just bought myself an MP1X. I've used this maybe like 3 times on some different jobs that specifically I needed basically what's in there right now. And I mean, it is nice how close it is to your body, because I mean, it's super thin, it's not very thick at all. But it's just, I always end up wanting one more tool than what would fit in this, which you can do that with a magnet. I could actually do that. I mean, I'll go get here. I'll fix this real fast. And that'll make it black too. Take the old Mag Master. Boom. But then that kind of makes it to where you can't stick I could probably stick a small, well, I can still fit the Cobra back in there. But you could do Cobra there. Pliers wrench there. Lineman back there. That at least makes it black. Those Fujio ones are so close looking, yeah, and they've changed on price like 4 or 5 times too, just since you sent them to me. I picked up the Knipex Smart Grip Auto Pliers a week or 2 ago. Really liking them. They could definitely become one of my go-tos. Yeah, they're by far the best one of those kind of pliers for sure, in my opinion, as far as the auto adjust. Because for one, the Cobra's the best of that anyway, so that's what you've got right there. And then also their auto adjusting is the best working one, in my opinion, too. Break from school. Was sad that my Vito cooler doesn't have a good spot for a Morgan's maintenance sticker. My Yeti cooler has one though. Couldn't find a DB rating quickly, but Tools and Stuff talks over it and has 4 settings. Heard it on the job, not bad. You talking about the Makita one some way? Yeah, every time I've heard the Awesome Framer guy using it, it doesn't seem like it's the pitch on that thing too. I think it might be that it's not so much that it's loud. It's like this crazy pitch that's so annoying that's what makes it bad. But I mean, I use it. But I typically, if I'm gonna use it very much, I put in some earplugs. Steve Rivera picked up the Vessel electric screwdriver that you have from Japan. I really like it. Yeah, like I was just saying a little bit ago, it's probably in the last couple of years my favorite tool of all of them that I've bought. I can't imagine not having that now, but again, it's just for what I do. I'm 9 times out of 10 using a screwdriver, working on something, and it just speeds up. And most of my stuff is all machine screw type stuff. So it works really well with those, whether it's, receptacles, switches, doorknobs, all that kind of stuff, fixtures. I mean, it's everything, all my screws are those machine type. And most of the work that I do, unless I'm doing like my remodeling stuff, and then that's all impacts and drills and stuff anyways, nothing that I'd use one of those for. So always works phenomenal. And I like the Japan one was easier to fix the play in it than the US version one was. Both of them are fixable, but the Japan one's definitely easier, and it was cheaper. Noticed a video of a 1/4 inch electric ratchet vessel put out. I went to Amazon Japan to order it, and it was out of stock. Yeah, I've had a few people send me that and ask me about it, but I don't know that I'm going to buy it because I don't find myself needing a powered 1/4 inch ratchet that much, and I've got the Milwaukee one as far as any of that kind of stuff, and I'm sure it's way more powerful. Now, is the Milwaukee one too powerful for some things sometimes that I could use that for? Maybe, but I don't know. The Milwaukee one's not like super overly powerful as far as high torque or anything like that. And I've got the high speed version, which mine is a 3/8. I don't have a 1/4 inch one, but I put a 1/4 inch adapter on it if I'm gonna use it for anything. And it's been pretty rare that I've even used that, so I don't know that I'd use the vessel one that much. Also got the 45 deal on the vessel. Was surprised by how much power it has driving in screws. How do you like the Noster clip on your M12? I got one about a month ago. I feel like it's going to be situational for me when I'm working at heights. I like it. It's a combination of the two. Certain times I like the Noster clip better than the spider tool drill pin. So I go back and forth between the Noster and the spider drill pin. I've got this on most of mine right now because I've got a spider holster on my vest already and ready to go. But whenever I'm going to I like that on my vest that I wear all the time for like my service call stuff, my 1824. But my vest, like my Stratos and my Saratoga, that I've got places all over it I can put stuff, I like the Noster better because I can just put it anywhere I want to. The one thing that's nice about the Noster compared to a spider is that I don't know if I got let me see. I don't remember if I've got a holster in here somewhere or not. I might have one over there. Yeah. It's on there pretty good. So, like the drill pins, super nice. They will not come out unless you pull up on this, and then you kind of get used to using it where your thumb hits it as you pull up. It becomes second nature, like to hit this little thumb release. But the one downside to the spider tool pins are with certain tools, especially if they're bigger, like it moves around a lot, like while you're moving. So if you're working in a place where you're going upside down and all that kind of stuff, this sits there and moves around, beats and bangs on you. The Noster clip kind of like you put that on and it's locked into that position, like it's not going to move, which sometimes that's a bad thing. Sometimes you want your tool to move, like especially if you're crouching up and down a lot, and if this thing will actually kind of move with your body, it's nice, but then there's a lot of times where it's not nice. So again, like you said, it's kind of situational, and it's situational for me. There's certain situations I prefer that, and then I've got the Nosters in my truck. It's a matter of swapping a screw out. It doesn't take very long in the big scheme of things. If I'm doing a job where I'm going to work all day and the Noster is going to be better for me, I just go ahead and swap it out. But I like both. I think both of them, they're the two best. The drill pins and the Noster are the two best things I've ever used. And now Holstery just came out with some kind of a Pin Pal or something like that. I haven't tried it yet. I don't know that I will because I don't think it's going to be any better than that. It's kind of a similar thing to the spider drill pin. It could be better. I'm just saying I don't know that I'm going to pay money to try it because I've got so many of those already, and I've got the holsters. It's just doesn't make sense for me to try it. I don't think it's going to be that much different. Still liking your new stool? Yeah, I really do. The only thing I said is, let's see if I can get in the frame. The only thing it's taken me to get some used to is this, the back, because I've always just had one that was just like this. And because this thing spins around, like sometimes I'll come in here and it'll be like that or whatever, and then I'll go to sit on it, and I sit right on, this thing. So I've had to get used to having to maneuver that around. But I do like the swiveling is super nice, being able to move like side to side. And so far it's not been squeaking any, so that's good too. Matt uses Japan bits. You guys need to try the Annex side switch driver. Seriously. Is that the Annex, the ratcheting one? Matt tries to get me to buy that all the time. That's one of the few that he hadn't talked me into yet. But it's because I'm not, if I was a ratcheting screwdriver fan and I loved them, then yeah, I'd already bought it by now. But it's like it's a ball handle ratcheting screwdriver. I'm not a big ratcheting screwdriver fan, so it's a ball handle screwdriver to me. So the odds of me using the ratcheting part's not very good. And then on top of it, it's like I like the vessel tang throughs. I like the weight of those better. So that's the only reason why I haven't got that yet. But he's tried to talk me into it 1,000 times. Off the topic, sort of, but what work boots do you prefer? Just ordered a new pair of Thorogoods. Been my favorite for 4 years. I just wear, most of the time I wear Skechers, to be honest with you, and just shoes. Like I even wear the little slip-on canvas ones or whatever. I've got some leather ones that I keep that are slip-ons. I keep them in the back of my truck so that if I go somewhere and I'm going to be working in mud or something like that, or walking through wet grass and all that, I do that. But I just wear tennis shoes a lot of times because I slip. I going in and out of houses, I slip in and out of different shoes. So I don't like wearing stuff where I'm going to have to untie and take stuff on and off and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I don't usually go that route. Saving up for that Knipix twin grip set. I have an Icon knockoff and I like it. Yeah, they're super nice. I've been keeping the big one in here and an 8-inch. I've got two 8-inch pairs now, but I've been keeping the big one in here. I haven't had a need for it yet, and I'll see. I don't think it's going to move into my truck. I think this is going to be a garage tool unless I'm crazy, because there's been very few times where I can't think of any time where that 8-inch hasn't been big enough for anything I've ran into that I've needed to use this on. So for now, the 10-inch one's staying in my garage, and then the small one's in my vest as an EDC, and then the 8-inch one I keep in my tool bag in my SBLD. Some way said ratcheting. Do you use the Japanese vessel or the American version more? I don't know which one I use the most because I keep them both in my. I just grab them like out of my back. I can't. One of them I keep in my MP2X and one of them I keep in my SBLD. But then I always, like, if I'm put on my vest, I just grab one out of my MP2X, or I grab my whole MP2X. And then sometimes I'll put on my MP2X and I'll take one of the screwdrivers out and grab the vessel out of my SBLD. So then whenever I get back out to the truck, I just put one in each one. I don't even pay attention to which one it is. I have fixed both of mine. Like the Japanese one, I cut the little 1/4-inch piece off of a bit and put it down in there, and that took the play out of it, and I just leave that in there all the time. And then my US version, I ended up, because it's different, like you can't get like one of them pieces down in there. The way that there's something different about that mechanism inside. I could never get the piece to go down in there without turning sideways. So I ended up taking some pencil eraser, because I had seen where somebody else had done that on the Japan one, and kept cutting little layers of that and stuffing it down in there. And I got it now to where it doesn't have any play, but I don't pay attention to which one I'm grabbing. A lot of times I'm using both of them, or I just grab, it may just so happen to be that whenever I'm using my vest, I grab the one out of my SBLD. I may grab the one out of my MP2X. I may grab both of them, and then I don't put them, I just put one back in each one whenever I get back out there. They're both pretty much the same to me. As far as function wise, there's no difference. They're just a different color. One of them's got a red switch, one of them's got a blue switch. 1,000 times, question mark. I wear Skechers step-ins with Kevlar insoles and steel-toe inserts, OSHA approved. Has anyone bought and used the Icon equivalent of the Snap-on Talon nose pliers? I don't think they're out yet. And I'm glad I went ahead and bought the Snap-on ones because I was kind of like, I had watched it in the SEMA video last year, and I was like, well, I don't want to buy the Snap-on ones because I don't want to pay the price for them if Harbor Freight's going to have them. And then I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and buy the Snap-on ones because in my town, it seems like anytime that stuff comes out, I can't ever get a pair of them for like 6 months after they're even released, but they still haven't even been released yet. So, because they were on the SEMA video that I just watched here in the last little bit, as if they're still coming out. So they've had them out there forever, like they was going to bring them out. Maybe they're waiting for some kind of a patent to wear off or something. I don't know. But I don't think they're out yet, like to where anybody can buy them. Now, there might be a few people that have them because they gave them to them or something, but I think Tools and Tactics just went live. Could you link a pair of the Skechers? Looking for something comfortable when I don't need boots. Tomlin03 said, yeah, I'll put one in the, I've worn a bunch of different ones, but I'll put a link to the ones I wear most of the time. These that I've got on, I've got a pair, I'll show them to you, but I'll put a link in the thing because I keep the same pair I normally wear inside my Muddy Buddies. Because I keep a pair of these in my truck, the same shoes I wear all the time, and then I've got those Muddy Buddies slipped onto them, and then that way I don't have to take these on and off of shoes. I just change shoes, and then so these are, I wear those kind of shoes a lot. And then like this is what I do normally is I'll buy myself a new pair, and then I'll put these inside of here because they're not, I'm wearing these actually as a cover for them anyway. So then I've got a newer pair that I wear, and then I swap them out with these because I just use these inside people's houses. So I bought a pair of the step-ins, Matt. I've got them actually coming. I've never wore a pair of the step-ins that Matt's talking about. So they're supposed to be easier to slip on than I guess these are, but really these are super easy to put on anyways. But they've got like a hard place back here, which this one's got like something back here. I've got a pair of them coming in the mail. I'm supposed to be getting them this week too because they were on sale, like a limited time deal on Black Friday, and I needed a new pair, so I'm going to try a pair of those. I haven't tried those, but these I bought like 6. I've probably went through like 6-7 pairs of these. These are the ones I buy most of the time. I'll just leave this sitting up here. I think I saw Tools and Tactics went live. I know some of y'all go into his stuff, which I've been on here for a while anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and get off here. But Matt said they only last 6 months for me, but I get them for under $50. Yeah, the pair that I just got, I ordered, which these that I just showed you are normally 40 to 50 bucks. And then the pair I just ordered was on sale for like 48 bucks or something like that too. So but I'm going to go ahead and get off here and go inside. We've been on here for almost a couple hours. Get the puncture-resistant insoles from Dr. Scholl's, he said. But I'll put whenever I get inside, I'll put a link in the description for those, the ones that I wear all the time. They're super comfortable. I really like them. And like I said, just being able, because I go in and out of houses so much, I like having shoes where they're just easy to take on and off. Like I don't have to, like I said, sit on somebody's steps and untie shoes and take off boots and put them back on. But I do keep a pair of boots in my truck so that if I am working outside or if I go into a place and I want leather boots and don't want to wear this kind of stuff, you know, I keep those in my truck, but that's just not what I typically wear all the time. So, but I'm going to go ahead and get off here. I saw TPG just came back in just in time for me to say bye-bye. So, but appreciate y'all being on here, and we'll see you on the next one. Maybe it'll be Saturday, maybe before then. I don't know. We'll see. But appreciate y'all being on here. Y'all have a good one.